Alright guys, what's going on? Shellz here, and today I'll be discussing obviously my first two preferences for the United job. Obviously being Zidane and Pochettino. I'm a big fan of Zidane, he's obviously my first choice. I do have a wild card third pick that I think could potentially be, as I said, a wild card selection, but I think could actually do a really good job if he was, given the United job. I think he'd suit, the United system very well. Now, in the background here is just some gameplay of me playing FIFA right now. Obviously, it's pretty late in the day I'm going to do this video. I've been super busy today. Just one of those days where things go, get a little late, but hopefully you guys don't mind the video late. Good to get it out. But let's start off with Zidane, of course. Zidane first and foremost. Let's talk about his time at Real Madrid. I feel like this is obviously the most recent and obviously his big, first break in the scene. So, the first thing that stands out for me about Zidane and why I really want Zidane is his Champions League success. It's the one thing I look at with United with Sir Alex Ferguson and I kind of wish we had more of. I'd trade 2 Premier League titles for 1 Champions League. That's just my opinion. I know I might sound ridiculous to people, but for me the Champions League is the pinnacle of the competitions. It's bigger than the domestic league. You have to play against teams from across the EU, and I think that's really what I think really demonstrates you have a good team or not. Are you a one-trick pony, as in are you a one-trick domestic league team, or can you play against teams all across, the best teams? Are you as good enough to play against the super teams like the Bayern Munichs, the PSGs, the Reals, the Atletico Madrids, the Barcelonas, the Juventus teams? Are you good enough to face them? How can you play against them? I think that's a really good yardstick for teams. Now you look at those 3 Champions Leagues, I think that was a fantastic job. And for me, the one thing that stands out with Zidane is in those Champions Leagues is, Real weren't exactly they didn't look great last year, but they still got the job done. And I think in the games I watched them, the one thing that did stand out for me, and as a fan of American football, NFL, NBA, MLB, you look at the coaches that get the big bucks, the really good coaches, the coaches that are just that little bit better than the rest of the league. What they do brilliantly is they do on-the-fly adjustments, and I think Zidane is brilliant at that. That's the one thing that steps out at me at Zidane. I go, okay, that is exactly what I like. He makes adjustments on the fly. He figures out, okay, obviously it's great. You go into a game and you're like, right, this is how we're going to attack this game. We're going to run this. This is where we're going to plan X, plan Y. Well, what happens if the opposition runs something you've never seen before? How are you going to adjust to that? Are you going to adjust to it by doing something you've never done before, or are you going to basically draw up something that your team will understand, can implement quickly, and then make sure that you guys can just completely nullify what they're doing? I think that's what Zidane does really well. I think I look at that, and that's the #1 thing I look at Zidane and say, okay, that's what I really like about him. That's just why I think he's better than Pochettino. I think he just does that a little bit better. I think that's what makes him that little bit better. Fantastic player by Herrera. I think he's just the guy for me for that reason. Now, people are going to say, and this is from the other side of the object, yeah, he won 3 Champions League, but look at the team he had. You look at the team, Navas in goal, Carvajal, Varane, Ramos, Marcelo back, Casemiro, Kroos, Modric midfield, Bale, Ronaldo, Isco, Benzema. Yeah, it's a fantastic team. I'm taking away from that, but you have to realize you have to put those players in that position. There's a saying: players win them, coaches lose them. If you lose the game, coaches lose them. But if the coach plays their players in the right position, changes things up in the game, the players win at the end. That's the key thing to that saying. I think Ronaldo does a great job with that. Yes, they've had an amazing team, but look at the team this year. Zidane disappears away. They've already, Lopetegui, is that what his name is? Gone. Bye. See you later, kid. Didn't get the results. Real Madrid move on. He's a new coach, Solari, is there something? Is that pronounced name? I have no idea to pronounce his name, but to me, he's on a sticky wicket as well. I think you look at the team this year, and yes, we can say, oh, it was Ronaldo as well. Ronaldo's a good player, but Real Madrid should not lose the teams they've lost this season, even if they didn't have Ronaldo, or if they were missing more than that. It feels like they've lost more players than just Ronaldo. I think Zidane was a huge part of that team. He was very good at getting them out of scraps, and I just don't feel like they're the same. I don't feel like Real Madrid are the same team as they used to be, and that's saying something, because they were always just so good. I mean, they were a fantastic side when it came to like the Champions League. You just knew they were going to turn up when it mattered most. They were going to turn up in in those knockout stages, and you have to give them credit for what they do, because they're an elite team. And for me, yes, Ronaldo's a huge part of that, but I think you know, Zidane set those teams up. He was in charge of being right. All 11 players here and 14 positions when you come with substitutions. This is how we're going to win the game. I think he's made the right substitutions at the right time. He changed things at the right time. He made the adjustments on the fly in the game when it was needed most. I think that's where some coaches struggle. You know, some coaches are very good, but when you prepare for a week, you have, you know, say for example, you have a week to prepare for a game. You have plenty of time, plenty of hours to make adjustments. You can like look at their game. You can watch the tape multiple times. Like, I see what they're doing now, and kind of, you watch 3 or 4 times to understand it. The big change though is, can you make the changes when the game is at its temperament? You know, it's high tense. You know, the game's flying, the game's flowing. Can you make it with that limited time? You know, kind of like you're in a test. It's like a quick bit, and that's the big difference for me. As I said, and I think Zidane will do that perfectly for us if we were to hire him. Now you look at the odds for Zidane, and to be honest, I'm very surprised at the odds. Seeing him at 11-1 was a real like shock today. I was like, oh wow. I was like, that's a real surprise. I'm not really sure what the issue is with that. Is that just because, you know, people aren't betting on him? Like I don't actually know what the numbers actually are, but for me, I think he's a world-class manager. You know, people say he doesn't speak English. He can speak 4 languages fluently. He can speak Arabic, Italian, Spanish, French fluently. Is he ever going to have a problem picking up English? No, he'll probably pick it up in a week. I think he'll be grand. He'll absolutely do perfectly fine. You know, he can speak in French to Pogba, Martial. They'll understand him. Does Lukaku understand? Oh, jeez, that was terrible of me. I mean, Lukaku understands French. Doesn't he talk to French to Pogba? You know, he can speak Spanish to Hea. You're pretty much, you're sorted there. He'll learn. You can ask Pogba to translate for you. Probably do a pretty good job. But yeah, that's the main gist of why I want Zidane. I think he'd just do a fantastic job here at United. I'd love to have him. I think he'd be the ideal candidate to, you know, to have him. United. Just absolutely hugely one of my favorite players when I was growing up. You know, his headbutt in the final, that's a legendary moment. I absolutely love the way he did that. I wish he didn't get sent off for it, but it's an absolutely brilliant moment by him. Let's move on to Pochettino here as we enter the second half of the game. And Pochettino for me is definitely a guy that I'm really a big fan of. I really am a big fan of his, you know, his style suits what United look for, and that's a hugely important thing. You know, I feel like United have gone for kind of 3 defensive, 3 kind of pragmatic guys recently, in Mourinho, Van Gaal, and David Moyes. I think United need to, you know, just be a little bit more daring, and just, you know, or not daring, that's not the right word at all. Stick to what United know. United want to play attacking football, so why don't you just go for it? Why don't we run for attacking football? I think we need to just work it out, pick attacking football coaches, pick a coach that's going to be, you know, fluent with the youth, and when you add those factors together, Pochettino is probably the top of the list to me. At least for me, I think he's probably the most United-esque coach in terms of attack, youth philosophy, and I think that's what United need. Now, he does have a few issues. There's a few issues people from, you know, will of course mention to you. And the first one, of course, he hasn't won any trophies. Well, Zidane didn't win any trophies before he won his, you know, 3 Champions Leagues in a row, did he? So, you know, everyone has to start somewhere. You know, Alex Ferguson at one stage had 0 trophies in the trophy cabinet, and he ended up with what, like 3 or 4 rooms full of trophies at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about, you know, he's eventually going to win trophies. He's going to win a Premier League. He's going to win a Champions League, whether it be at Man United next season or in a few years' time, or he goes to Real Madrid. He's guaranteed to end up in one of those big jobs. It would be a stunner if he doesn't end up in one of those jobs for me. I think that would be a real big surprise. But, you know, I think a lot of people need to realize that is the fact that he's going to end up at a good job. You know, he's not going to stay at Tottenham forever unless, you know, this season, which I highly doubt it's going to happen. Or maybe they win the Champions League, which wouldn't surprise me. I think he could potentially do that. But, you know, to me, he's one of those coaches that I really would like to see at United, you know, because he can do that attacking style and youth style. But other issue, I think, and this is obviously the biggest one, and that is getting out of Spurs for me, is going to be dealing with Daniel Levy. He is notoriously bad and horrible person to deal with. He's a very shrewd business person. He's not going to get, you know, not drunk under the table, like, you know, taken under the table, kind of, you know, with deals like that. He's going to, you know, make sure that United pay up for every penny for what Pochettino is worth. I don't think it's just a case of just doing the release clause. I think they'll legitly fight to keep Pochettino at Spurs. I think they'd be more inclined to let him go to a team like Real Madrid rather than you'll let him go in market, because if you got Pochettino, Madrid, you have to face, the max you face him in a year is max 2 times. If you do get him go to your Premier League, you're going against the guy you're going to be facing. Even if you face him twice a year, realistically, you're fighting with them for 38 games of a season for that top spot. You want to face Pochettino. I think they'd actually even take less to send him to Madrid for that simple fact. That's just what I think about Pochettino. I do love his style. I think that's a huge, to me, that's the number one most important part of the United thing position, is getting an attacking coach, and that's going to bring me on to my next point. The wildcard pick that I have been, teasing for a little bit here at the start of the video, and my wildcard pick is, of course, going to be Nunes Espirito Santo. Is that how you pronounce his name? I'm really confused what his name actually is, but I think he's an absolutely fantastic coach. Now, I haven't watched Wolves for the season, but they've been an absolute breath of fresh air. And for me, the one thing that stands out for him is his attacking style. I'm a big fan of it. I think he does a fantastic job with it. He has a style and he sticks to it. I think that's a really important aspect of the game. You need a style. His is attacking. It's, we're going to attack. This is how we're going to attack. And it doesn't matter whether you're Man City, Tottenham, Spurs, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. We're going to play this style against you. Or, they play the same style if they're playing, Tranmere or Barnet or Stevenage. Who else is just, Carlisle, maybe like a Leyton Orient in the National League. Just basically, they're down to play whatever style. They play the same style regardless of who team they're playing. And I really have to respect that. They're going to basically say to teams, this is what we do. Work this out like a puzzle. I really respect that. He's good with youth as well, which is a hugely, I think, positive. Again, another, tick in the box. If you want the kind of job for me is be good with the youth. So he ticks the boxes for me, and I think that's good to see. I'm a big fan of that, and of course, I think he's gonna be a really good coach. I think he's the next Pochettino before, Pochettino is at Southampton. I think he'll get a big job. Potentially, I don't really see which team will open up for him, or in the Premier League, or will he be in the Premier League, or will it be somewhere else, like, in Europe? But someone's gonna, take him and go, okay, he has a sense of style. That's what we need in our team, and we're gonna, develop that, because his style reminds me a bit of Klopp, a bit of Pep Guardiola, where they're like, this is our style, this is how we play, and we're gonna play this style regardless. Like, Klopp's strategy this season is play plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, try plan A again. Just keep banging on the door till the door breaks down, pretty much, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So yeah, I give a lot of credit for that. I think he's definitely a coach who's looking forward to it. But ultimately, rounding it up here, for me, Zidane, I think he knows how to coach properly. I think he has that brain to do that. But I also think, Pochettino would not be like a bad runner-up for me. Like, I would not be mad that, oh, we got Pochettino. I'd be like, oh. I'd be mad if we got someone like Allegri, even though he's a great coach, he's a great style. I just don't feel like he's not a coach. I'd be really mad if we got Simeone. I think he's just a bit too defensive and a bit too much. Like, I don't want to get PTSD from Jose Mourinho. Like, I mean, it's already done enough to me the last 3 years alone as it is. But they're probably ones. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if, okay, what would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for me have to do to get the job? To be honest, he'd have to absolutely be unbelievable this season. I think he'd have to be PSG would be number one, and he'd have to get top 4 for me. Maybe the 2 things I'd need to see from him for me to give him the job. Although I'm delighted with what I've seen so far. I'm going to do another video tomorrow talking about United's best 11 under Solskjaer. But so far, absolutely very impressed with him. I think he's done a good job. But again, it's it's the honeymoon period. How will he do at the end of the season? Will he get top 4? How can he do the Champions League? That's where I'm going to really compete him, because at the end of the day, to win the Premier League, you have to beat the top 6 sides, and you have to do well in Europe as well. And that's the 2 things for me that are most important to coach, and we'll see what he does with them. But anyway, that is the video today. It went a little bit longer than I was expecting with that one, but I hope you guys don't mind. Just a lot to talk about in that one, and absolutely glad to get out of the way. But good video. Hope you enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the chat about both, both coaches, and of course Espirito Santo. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Leave what your predictions are below. Who do you want as United coach? And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Enjoy.